today we're being joined by AFLW potential draftee Shineah Goody. Shineah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Cooper. Thanks for having me.
Now, tell us a bit about yourself. What got you into footy and, the process of this year with the draft right around the corner?
Yeah, so obviously I'm pretty sure I started football when I was maybe 12, just out with the boys at my local football club with the Southern Eagles. So yeah, just started with them, and then obviously with the age restrictions, I sort of had to come over. I was linked with Eagles through their talent program, so sort of came through that, and then with Henley Sharks, and then I was lucky enough to be picked up in the Woodville West Torrens women's side, so just been playing there for the last 4 years, well, 3 years now.
That's good. So how do you deal with the pressure of being someone that's being talked about being a top draft pick? How do you go with all that talk about you being at the high end of the draft?
Yeah, it's obviously a bit stressful just with all of the voices and that coming in, but I just try and sort of keep the close, sort of rely on those close to me, whether that's family or my managers who are over in Melbourne. So just trying to rely on those close to me.
Yeah, so it says that you won the AFLW Under-18 Championships MVP in a good performance against the South Australian team. How was that time for you? In a star-studded South Australian team, I should add. How was that time for you?
Yeah, I mean, we had such a good team, so I feel like really that award could have went to anyone, but I don't really look at those individual sort of awards. I'm just sort of striving for those more team success, and obviously for the last 2 years with the state teams, we have been able to go undefeated, so it just shows the amount of talent that SA does have.
Yeah. So I was in that time in the National Carnival, you're averaging 17 disposals, 5 tackles a game, 4 marks a game. How was that time for you in the championships? And how was that time for you, and how good was it to play with some of the people that you potentially line up with next year as well, or against?
Yeah, obviously, I just feel like with those sort of representative games, it's just such a great opportunity to sort of be exposed to a lot of different coaching styles, players as well, and it's just really a opportunity to learn new things. So yeah, I mean, it's been great being involved in those sort of programs over the last couple of years.
So part of the Port Adelaide NextGen Academy, how's that experience playing with the Power, and do you expect to end up with the Power when it comes to draft night?
Yeah, obviously we've been the next generation girls. We've been lucky enough to be training with the squad once a week for the past couple months. So
nice.
It's just a great experience to sort of see what the elite athletes do with the likes of like Erin Phillips and Foley and all of those sort of stuff, the experienced sort of players. But as sort of, it's not, obviously we're linked with Port Adelaide through the academy, but we don't have to go there. So it's just a matter of tossing up all the options and seeing what's going to be best for each individual.
So are you a part of the state draft part, or are you part of the whole draft?
Well, it just depends what I sort of nominate. So I've got a few options. I can either pre-sign with Port, nominate for SA, or nominate nationally. So yeah.
So have you spoken with many clubs outside of Port Adelaide, and how's those experiences been for you?
Yeah, I think I would have spoken to maybe 10 other clubs just over the last couple months and everything. But yeah, I feel like it's just such a great experience to firstly get the opportunity to be exposed to those different clubs and just sort of have a bit more of an insight into how they sort of run. Obviously, it's a bit different. Like you could be looking at a club from the outside and think something completely different. But once you sort of meet those inside and get that bit of an insight, it sort of changes your perspective and everything.
Sure. Has there been any weird recruiting questions? I know a lot of people, when they get drafted or in that draft process, they get asked all these weird recruiting questions. Has there been any recruiting questions that you've been asked that you think might be a bit different to what you expect?
No, I think all of them have sort of been your normal sort of just getting to know you as a player. I do know, like, yeah, with a lot of the boys, they get asked a few rogue questions, but I haven't come across that yet.
That's lucky then. Any nicknames you get given?
Just mainly Goody. That's what I normally go by on the field.
Oh, no, that's good. What's the best individual game this season for SA, for locally, for whoever, that you feels the game that has made you be talked about in the position that you are?
I'd probably say maybe the game against WA earlier in
Yeah.
the year, just purely because I think I played to my strengths, and obviously with the bigger oval where we were playing over in WA, yeah, I feel like my strengths were on the forefront and I was able to display that. So
So those stats I reeled off before in the sample W11. So the National Carnival was even better, averaging just over 24 disposals, 6 clearances a game. What got you into playing in the midfield? And you obviously enjoy the role playing in the midfield, but how was that experience of playing the midfield?
yeah, see, I feel like I'm a pretty versatile player, so I'm really not. I'm happy to play wherever the coaches or wherever the team sort of thinks that my attributes are best to help benefit the team. So, but yeah, whenever I'm in the midfield, obviously I just try and play to my strengths and sort of be the best that I can for the team. So yeah.
Who would be a player comparison, whether it's in the AFL or AFLW, that you would compare yourself to in terms of the style of play you are? So for people that want to know a bit more about the style of play you are.
Yeah, I feel like I sort of, whenever I'm watching any games, I sort of try and mirror what I'm doing off of with like Ali Anderson or Mon Conti, just purely because the position they play and sort of similar stature to me, obviously not being very tall, especially with Ali Anderson, I'm pretty sure we're similar height. So yeah,
Yeah.
just trying to learn off what she does as well.
Well, what would you say is the player that is not talked about as much in this year's upcoming draft that you feel should be talked about a little bit more? That's not just getting as much attention as yourself or anyone else at the top end.
Yeah, I feel like there's a few. Obviously, there's so many talented draft age players and even mature age players that should be getting that opportunity. But like in the SA team, probably like maybe Alyssa Brooke, a key defender. She's really athletic and she showed her athletic traits with the draft combine with the results she was getting. So yeah, probably her as a key defender, and then yeah, that would probably be the main one that comes to mind, really.
Who do you feel in the AFLW is the best player in the competition? Because obviously for this year in particular, there's so many names, that were in the AFLW medal contention. You got the Prosparka sisters, you got Garner, Riddell, Marinoff, all these girls that are in top nick. Who do you say is the best player in the comp?
Geez. Well, as you said, all of those players have had really good years, but probably Jazz Garner, just purely because what she can do on the inside, but also obviously she pushes forward and hits the scoreboard. So she's not just doing that inside role, she's also been able to impact on the scoreboard. But then again, like Ali Anderson, she might go close to going back to back, so that would be good to see. But
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Who would you say is the toughest opponent you've ever had to match up on in the Carnival or in the SA sample leagues as well?
Um, Geez, there's obviously whenever we get like AFLW players in that off season, whenever they come back
Yeah,
through the AFLW, so yeah, I would say any AFLW players coming back down, but then
yeah,
people from the sample just yeah, well, there's a fair few like
yeah.
maybe Zoe Venning, or I'm just trying to think.
That's all right.
Yeah, I could probably name a fair list. They're all pretty good
Pretty good.
players.
Yeah, that's good. What would you rather, mark or goal of the year?
Probably mark of the year, I guess.
Like to get up there. And who would be someone that loves the limelight, the attention, and the camera, can just not get enough of it when you're in the championships or whatnot, and they just know the cameras are on them or it's being filmed or whatever, and they know to extra celebrate a celebration or exaggerate it because they know where the camera is?
Probably maybe Lauren Young or Elaine Grigg. They don't mind a bit of camera time.
That's good. Who do you feel is that you're impressed by your teammates that are heading into this year's draft, that you think, a bit similar to what I said before about players that aren't getting talked about as much, but someone that you're impressed by that shot up out of nowhere, or someone who's just been ultra consistent?
Yeah, obviously, probably the likes of Lauren Young. She obviously did her ACL a couple of years ago, but I mean, she's been so consistent with everything she does. So what she's been able to do to get back into that form, coming back from that injury, and then just staying consistent with how she performs. And then obviously, I feel like all of the girls in sort of this draft crop have been pretty consistent throughout all of the younger pathways they've been through. So yeah, literally all of the girls are pretty consistent in that manner.
That's good. So I got two final questions. Appreciate you coming on. Who's your rising star tip for the AFLW this year? Obviously, again, there's a fair few names: Ali Morford, Zali Goldsworthy, Ella Roberts, Jazz Fleming. There's a few other girls as well. Who do you feel will win that award in the end? 'Cause for me, it was pretty hard to choose between those first three that I mentioned.
Yeah, obviously with Ali, she had such a good start of the season, but then obviously being injured, so it'll be it's hard to go past her. But then, as I said, with the injury, and then with Zali, in the back half of the season, she was really, I feel like she sort of hit her straps with what she was doing, and she was getting those high number possessions with going through the midfield, but she was also hitting the scoreboard. So yeah, probably between maybe Zali and then there's Ella as well, who she's just stayed consistent throughout the whole year. So probably with those three, but I might have to tip probably Ali to go with it.
That's fair. And final question for Pressure coming on: Premiership tip for AFLW this year?
Melbourne might go close with going back to back, but then I feel like Brisbane, whenever they play the top four teams, they always come through and they get the win. So it'll be interesting, but hopefully Brisbane gets the win.
Goody, I really appreciate you coming on. All the best for the draft in a month's time. Hopefully your dreams get realised and you're going for a long, successful career at that club wherever you land up. So appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Cooper. Thanks for having me.
No worries. No,